ever stop to think that your daily habits, the little things you do without a second thought, could actually be making you less sharp? It's a bit of a wild idea, but today we're going to dive into the science behind it.
So here's that age-old question, right? Is your IQ just a number you're stuck with from birth? We tend to think of it that way. But what if that's not the whole picture? What if the tiny choices we make, day in and day out, have a much bigger say in our brain power than we ever imagined?
For the longest time, the common belief was that your intelligence is what it is. It's fixed. But what we know now is that our brains are incredibly flexible. They're constantly being reshaped by our routines, which directly impacts our ability to think, to reason, and to solve problems.
Okay, so how does this actually happen? How can a simple habit lower your intelligence? Well, it all comes down to a really modern problem, something we can call mental laziness. And trust me, it's a huge hidden threat to our ability to think clearly.
Now, mental laziness isn't about being stupid or unmotivated. Not at all. It's more like a trained response. It's what happens when our brain gets so used to the easy path, the path of least resistance, that it starts to actively avoid the hard work. It's like the difference between sitting on the couch versus going to the gym and lifting weights. One maintains, the other builds real cognitive muscle.
And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. We're talking about real physical changes happening inside your head. At a neurological level, our habits are literally rewiring the circuits in our brains, making it harder and harder to just sit down and focus. Think of it like a constant tug-of-war going on inside your brain. On one side, you have these passive, easy activities that give you an instant hit of a feel-good chemical called dopamine. On the other side, you have deep, challenging thinking that requires real, sustained effort. Our brains are caught right in the middle. And this really gets to the core of the issue. The small, seemingly harmless things we do every day are actually teaching our brain what to want. We are literally training it to crave those quick, easy rewards, which, over time, makes the hard work of actual deep thinking feel way less appealing.
So what are these simple behaviors we're talking about? Let's get specific. We're going to break down 4 incredibly common habits that feed directly into this whole cycle of mental laziness and distraction.
All right, so we're going to look at 4 big ones, and they really fall into 2 main camps: habits that make us lazy and habits that just keep us distracted. First up, let's talk about the habits that promote that mental laziness. Number 1 is magical thinking. This is when we'd rather accept a simple, maybe even a supernatural explanation for something instead of doing the hard work of actually analyzing it. And number 2 is blindly following trends, basically just letting the crowd do the thinking for us. Both are mental shortcuts that let our brain off the hook.
Okay, the next 2 habits are all about feeding that dopamine craving. The third habit is chronic sleep neglect. When you don't get enough sleep, your brain can't clear out all the metabolic junk that builds up during the day. This directly hurts the part of your brain that handles focus and reasoning. And habit number 4 is doom scrolling. I mean, this is the poster child for a dopamine-driven habit, right? It trains your brain to just jump from one shiny thing to the next, never really engaging with anything deeply.
So when you put these 4 habits together, they all point to one really important question. What is your brain actually being trained to crave every day? Figuring that out is the first step to taking back conscious control of how your brain is wired. Ultimately, it all boils down to something psychologists call the need for cognition. It's basically our natural curiosity, our inner drive to engage with and actually enjoy thinking through tough stuff. Every single one of the 4 habits we just talked about systematically weakens that desire, making us less and less likely to want to tackle complex problems. And that leaves us with one last, really powerful question to think about. Every scroll, every late night, every unexamined idea, it's all a choice. Your brain is adapting to those choices every single day, rewiring itself. So the only question left is, who's in charge of the wiring? Is it you or is it your habits?